Well, first of all, congratulations to Texas A&M. Boy, what an effort by them. You know, they played the equivalent, I think, of 6 games this weekend and had to beat us twice, and that's no easy task. We're tough to beat when we pitch and play defense and play with a little heart and energy. We're a tough team to beat. We're a tough out, and we exactly were that this week. I'm so proud of our guys and players like Chris Paul, these seniors. I remember I told them a story that when I was driving into Omaha in 2011. I texted one of our former players, Mark Canna, now plays with the Oakland A's, and Mark was a program-changing player for us. And as we were driving in, I remember texting him. He says, "Hey, Mark, I'm driving into Ameritrade Park, and the reason we're driving here is because of efforts from players like you. I mean, we've been lifted upon your shoulders to get here." And I said, next year, you know, God willing, I'm hoping to have that same text and send that over to Chris Paul, Dylan Nelson, and Chris Muse-Fishers, our seniors, who, you know, brought this program back and stuck with us and got us into the national conversation. And we played, you know, a great team like Texas A&M, who is as good as any team in the country, and play them toe to toe as often as we did. I'm so proud of our team and our program. We grew by leaps and bounds this weekend. We learned a lot of things. We played in front of a great crowd. Again, you know, the tournament organizers, this was a first-class tournament. The fans were great. It was an atmosphere that inspired our players, even though there was probably 6,000 people rooting against us and 50 rooting for us. I think we were able to take some energy and inspiration from the crowd that was here tonight. So couldn't have been a better atmosphere. Disappointed to lose. I mean, we had high expectations, and there's no moral victory on our club. We wanted real victory. We didn't get that, but in leaving the tournament, we're very proud. I'm very proud of our club.
Coach Kent kept going out there. You never could really shake him or make him wobble on a guy that had pitched already this week. I would think that you want to get him in some trouble.
Well, you know, we really never got into any offensive rhythm where we really were just swinging the bats. I felt like just, you know, unconsciously up and down the order. And, you know, I've been in a couple regional tournaments, and sometimes, you know, you face such good pitching that you got to hang around the tournament a little while until the bats get going, and sometimes you end the tournament swinging the bat pretty well. We never really got to that point. We kept on hoping that it would come, because we obviously were in there to the end, but we never got to the point where up and down the lineup we were probably as big a threat as we have been during the season. We were, you know, had much better offensive days, and Kent was tough. You know, you give him credit, threw a lot of strikes. You know, his walk numbers are real low during the year. He gave up some hits, but we weren't able to get to him. You know, one of the key situations, it was obviously, you know, they had 2 sacrifice fly for 2 runs, and we had a couple opportunities. We had a first and third situation. We didn't do a double play. You know, our guys were trying, and it just didn't work out for us. But those are 2 turning points of the game that, you know, if we're able to get a run there, actually we take the lead, and I would have liked to have seen, you know, how that would have been to have the lead with 2 innings to go.
Dave, you bunted with Pearson twice last night, and then the bottom of the lineup with Preston and Robbie in situations where you would normally bunt, you had them swing away. What was your thinking there?
Well, you know, hey, we just thought that, you know, being the visitors today, a little bit different strategy where, you know, we thought, hey, we're going to play to tie or play to win. And, you know, when Preston we decided to slash with Preston just to get their defense maybe to move a little bit. And, you know, in the college game, if you can get a step or 2 one way or the other, it's not, you know, not like professional baseball. They're not you know, they don't always able to make up that 1 or 2 steps. If that would make the defense a little off to one side or the other, we could take advantage of it. And we're looking for a little bit of a spark. You know, we weren't able to get that traditional bunt him over, get him in hit yet. We probably wanted to get something with first and third, and we did have that situation. It just didn't happen for us, you know. And God bless our guys are trying like crazy to get it done, and it just didn't happen.
There were 2 or 3 plays, their third baseman looked like he was positioned kind of perfectly to take advantage of some of your hitters, and the same thing with the hit and run on with Grand Prix, the shortstop there twice. Was that something that you were trying to move them out of, or just?
Yeah, you know, when you go slash, you try to hit one of the holes, either the 6 or the 4 hole. You just happen to hit the ball up the middle. You know, when you show bunt, the shortstop will slide to the middle, and then maybe they get the second baseman and move over to first base a little bit. He just wasn't able to get the ball into one of those holes. But hey, they did a great job. You know, like I said, it was 2 teams just going toe to toe, and the difference between the both of us is so slim. You know, it's hard to really tell. They came out and they were able to score a couple more runs than us today, but you know, our guys were right there with them.
Childress has said over the past 2 games against you guys that occasionally he's like 1 batter late with a pitching change, and that kind of seemed to happen to you twice with with Schick, between Schick and Muse, and then Muse and Nelson?
Yeah, hey, Coach New had a solid game plan on how he wanted to attack the innings, and so I have a lot of trust in how he was running the pitch. And we did talk maybe about getting Schick out after the first walk. He'd gone 2 innings, and he was the one stretch guy. He was the guy that Mike was thinking that could stretch out a little bit if he got rolling. We thought we could get him back in the zone, and we couldn't. We knew we were a little bit on fumes on the back end of the bullpen, so we're just trying to ride a hot hand as long as we could.
Chris, looking at Matt Kent, obviously get the home run, but what was he able to do from what you guys saw just to keep everybody off balance? It was almost kind of like Michael Roth a couple of years ago in Omaha. You look at his stuff and you're just waiting for him to get a big hit off of him.
Yeah, it's funny. I've played against him past 2 summers as well out in the Northwoods League, but he just has great command of all pitches, threw to both sides of the plate, to extend when he could, and got some strikes. And he just kept throwing strikes and challenging us, and he did a great job. Hats off to him.
He came over and gave you a hug after the game was over. Is that the connection there, the summer?
Yeah. The past 2 summers I've played against him several times, faced him. So it's a kind of a friendly battle, I guess you could say. It's always fun facing him, especially how he's very competitive and very good. So, we built a friendship, played on the All-Star team together out there. So we have that companionship now, and hopefully we get to play again sometime in the future.
Did you think your home run was the spark, the way that the rest of that inning went, that y'all were going to finally knock him off?
Yeah, definitely. Leading off with a home run, and then getting some more guys on base, and we had Brian Celsi up, in a first and third situation, the guy we trust that can get it done. He hit the ball hard, just unfortunately in the wrong spot, so kind of killed a little bit of momentum, but we trust our guys, and just came up a little short today.
Were you hoping for maybe another inning out of Jeffries, or was it always going to be 1 inning?
Yeah, Mike was pretty cognizant. When you're dealing with Dalton Jeffries, it's a pretty, next year he's going to be in that conversation, the top half of the draft, and you don't want to take too many risks with guys like that. So he felt like he could get one good solid one out of him, and then we try to piece it together. 9 innings. It's not ideal. You'd like to have, obviously they were in a little bit better situation with Kent where they could ride him for 7 innings. We just weren't in that position. So hey, Coach New had a good plan. We're 1-1 into the 7th and got runners at first and third, could take a lead, and then unfortunately gave back that run in the bottom of the 7th. But it's tough to argue with the strategy that Coach New had in place.
Dave, when you look at your pitchers in this region, A&M is one of the better offensive teams in the country, and you would have thought if you held them that many runs, you'd win this regional. But just talk about the job your staff was overall did in this one.
Oh, an unbelievable job, and again, my hats off goes off to my pitching coach who has them prepared and ready to go in all situations, and has them pretty fearless. They trust the plan, they trust the pitch calling. I thought Mitchell Cranston did an outstanding job of catching, and quite frankly, by the end of the tournament, Mitchell Cranston was calling pitches because Mike felt so comfortable that he knew the hitters. And you got to have big trust in a college game. You got to have big trust in your catcher to let him call the pitches. That doesn't happen too often, but that's the level that we were playing there at the end. We had our catcher calling pitches, and we were trusting people to do their jobs, and it was a lot of fun. You don't have too much fun in games that you don't win, but when I look back on this, to see the level that this atmosphere and Texas A&M brought out on our team and our program, we can only build off of that and go higher.
Looking forward, Cranston's defense was the shaky part of his game last year, and his arm by the end of this year looked as good as anyone. Cumberland seems to be the catcher of the future. How tough is that going to be?
Well, hey, it's competitive, and whatever makes us better is gonna lift this program. So. Hey, Mitch had an outstanding last half of the season. Played a tremendous tournament here, and hey, he's set to build off of his performance and be an even better player next year. Brett Cumberland is an outstanding freshman, and someone that we're going to count on in the future. He swung the bat well for most of the year. At the end here, tailed off, had a little bit of a sore wrist. I think that only makes us stronger to have 2 options like that.
Anything else?
Coach, you just spoke a little bit on how you didn't win, but can you talk on how you did win and some things that you saw as your team coming back to build for next year?
Yeah, there were some big wins. One is, the basis to I feel our program is the camaraderie that we have in our program. I think what lifts any program, that X factor you're looking for is that brotherhood that your players play with. You know, the mechanical part of the baseball has to be there. You got to pitch, you got to play defense. But to have a team that works as hard and trusts each other and understands that is part of what's going to make a program strong is to, you know, I always tell them, you know, you have your program working right when you're playing with your best friends and they're as close as brothers. And if you start there, you can do some special things. And you know, those are things that we know works, and something we've got to take into next year. We've got to pitch a little better, play a little better defense, and hit a little bit better. But those are the type of things that you can build a program off of.
You have every hitter pretty much except for Chris coming back. You had some of your bigger guys disappear a little bit in the last 2 games. Looking forward at their development, what do you see there?
Yeah, it's experience, you know, and not everybody's ready to kind of hit the ground running on the big stage. They learn from it, and you know, they come back the next time and they feel like, you know, listen, I just made be a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more prepared, and that's the growth. That's what experience is. Maybe you don't have success the first time, the next time you figure it out.
All right.